We're going to talk to an expert again this morning, an expert that's joined us most all this month, Dr. John Gazer on our Alpha-Rex program. Dr. Gazer, of course, PhD, animal nutritionist, and performs lots of other duties for the folks at Rock River Labs, and of course, Rock River Labs in the Colby area on our Alpha-Rex program. And Dr. John, as you've seen some of the crops come in as far as testing is concerned, is there a cause for concern as far as the quality that we're seeing in some of what we're producing this past year?
Bob, good day. Unfortunately, yes, there appears to be a little bit of a trend downward in nutritional quality with the corn crop coming off through a lot of the dairy forage growing areas this year. Focusing on corn silage, as that is the crop we've seen in the feed stuff where we've seen the most nutritional or gained the most nutritional insight to this point. There appears to be a drop-off in fiber digestibility and fiber potential that is probably rooted in growing conditions. We had a pretty strong growing year earlier this year with plenty of heat units and moisture, and then in some areas we unfortunately were pushed back on our harvest schedule because of monsoons or record rainfall in some spots. So that ended up resulting in a more mature crop, which unfortunately has a little bit less fiber digestibility than would probably be ideal. Again, it's environmental, and one thing that I'm looking to stress with growers and dairies out there that maybe aren't recognizing as ideal of a nutritional quality as they would have hoped is to recognize that this is not a genetics, it's not probably due to management, but rather due to Mother Nature, and also recognize that you are not alone here in Wisconsin, western and northern Wisconsin. This is a phenomenon that we've recognized now, having laboratories in Wisconsin, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and New York. We are seeing this from pretty much the Mississippi east through the dairy forage growing areas. It's a really interesting phenomenon we're seeing this year.
As we go forward then with this crop quality concern in our corn silage, do we supplement it? Do we got what other products should we be looking at? Our other forages, maybe?
Yeah, good question. What should our strategy be when getting into feeding this year's crop? We're also recognizing potentially an anti-nutritional component to the 2018 crop. And when I say anti-nutritional, I mean we're recognizing a little bit higher wild yeast levels, maybe a little bit less stability. We're recognizing a little bit higher dry matter. Or maybe lower moisture, which might mean a little bit fluffier crop. Maybe it didn't pack as well. So keep an eye on your crop from a stability standpoint. Watch it for heating. And then unfortunately, we've recognized some mold and mycotoxin load in this crop as well. So I'm not looking to cause and raise a panic alarm, but rather be aware from a strategy as to how we might then deal with the crop. I think first understanding what we're going to be feeding and what we're going to be dealing with. Understanding the nutritional value, and if there are any anti-nutritional components to be concerned about, that we can at least have that information ahead of time. In terms of other strategies, looking out to next year, putting my 2019 forage growing and management hat on, thinking as maybe a crop manager, we're going to want to do what we can to promote exceptional crop quality to hopefully offset maybe what 2018 corn silage, which will be feeding out the next 12 to 16 months. We're going to want to put some aggressive strategies in play, maybe look for more elite genetics to put in the ground next year, harvest maybe a little bit sooner for a little bit more aggressive forage quality, bumping up that total track NDF digestibility, maybe lesser fiber levels. But here in the near term, if our corn silage quality is going to be to the detriment of intakes and performance, we might have to cut back on forage and maybe look at some alternative fiber sources in the diet, such as corn gluten feeds, soy hulls, wheat midds, maybe some other highly digestible non-forage feeds.
Did you find any problems with some of the alfalfa that was tested, the haylage that we tested this year, like the corn silage concerns?
Yeah, another good question. So I'm able to speak for that. As I had written an article for Popular Press here shortly reviewing the 2018 crop from alfalfa grass to corn silage. And thankfully, the hay and haylage crop throughout the upper Midwest looks to be at least similar to prior years, if not slightly above average in terms of nutritional quality, lesser fiber, maybe a little bit better fiber digestibility, higher relative forage quality and TT/NDFD relative to prior years. So it does look like we've got a little bit better haylage quality, and that may be then another strategy to come in and offset some of the nutritional challenges we might recognize with corn silage. If we do have inventory of a high quality alfalfa, hay, or haylage crop on farm, then maybe we can come in with a little bit greater level of that, roll back on corn silage to maintain performance.
Dr. John Gazer, our expert again this morning on our Alfalfa Alpha-Rex program. Dr. Gazer, animal nutritionist, PhD with Rock River Laboratories, and of course they've got a facility in Colby on our Alpha-Rex program.